We live in a time of unprecedented access to information, technology, wealth, and freedom. This, of course, has come at great cost to many. Men and women throughout history have committed the ultimate sacrifice by laying down their lives for the freedoms we enjoy today. Because of these freedoms, technology and wealth have expanded all around the globe. Access to information has led to one of the most educated generations to have ever existed. What a great time to be alive! However, as always happens, these freedoms are under attack, either by the standing governments of nations that wish to gain more power over their subjects, or by a foreign ideology that wishes to break down the current system and replace it with one of lesser value to the people. In Canada, you have 3 bills or motions that have recently made news for their censorship qualities. Take Bill C-16, which criminalizes the intentional use of traditional pronouns when addressing somebody who claims to be gender fluid or non-binary and does not identify with the traditional his, her, or he, she pronouns. This bill was opposed by the likes of Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, a professor of psychology at the University of Toronto, Dr. Gad Saad, a professor of marketing at Concordia University, and attorney-at-law D. Jared Brown. Despite these great minds opposing this bill that would essentially censor the freedom of speech that Canadians have enjoyed, it still passed with an overwhelming majority in favor. Motion M-103, which criminalizes speech that is considered Islamophobic, or basically any speech that portrays Islam in a negative light. This motion passed in Parliament with an overwhelming majority as well, and is on its way to becoming a bill that would make criticizing Islam a criminal act. And then we have Bill 89, which gives the state the right to take your child from you if you're a religious person that has negative beliefs on the LGBT lifestyle or is against it. It also seeks to remove religious belief from being a protected class. Because of this, they could take your child away from you if you teach them anything against LGBT living based off of religious beliefs, and then would call it child abuse. The bill also holds a child's thoughts and beliefs above that of their parents, essentially saying that the right for the child to express themselves is greater than the right for the parent to parent. And that's just in Canada. Let's take Ireland for example. There was a bill proposed in 2015 called the Public Electronic Communications Networks Improper Use Act. This would censor online criticism or alternative media. Or how about Germany, where a recent bill that was passed called Draft Law to Improve Law Enforcement in Social Networks would compel social media companies to remove content that is not favored by the German government, or risk fines of up to 50 million euros. Companies like Twitter and Facebook have already implemented policies to censor thought that doesn't fit into the left-wing narrative. Twitter by banning or suspending conservative accounts like Milo Yiannopoulos, Glenn Reynolds, or Robert Stacey McCain for simple online banter or tweeting a story that Twitter didn't like. Facebook has even employed third-party fact-checking groups to help censor out what they believe to be fake news without anybody holding these fact-checkers accountable. Google, the mother of all search engines and global corporate entity, has even thrown their hand into the censorship ring. They censor the autofill function when making searches, and conservative media sources as search results. They hold at least 9 blacklists that keep wrongthink out of the hands of their users. This type of censorship, by not providing the user with all available information, can affect voting patterns and even sway elections. We definitely cannot take the power Google has over what type of information we consume lightly. Don't get me wrong. I believe that in a free market society, which we live in and these companies are founded upon, a company has a right to do whatever they want and provide whatever type of product they want or service they want. I just see it as disingenuous for these companies to tout that they are for the free expression of ideas, but censor many of those that are not aligned with their own. As much as I love to bash the left, the right is just as guilty of censorship as any. In the UK, the Conservative Party, or Tories, have put in their manifesto that they believe that it is the purpose of the government to regulate what is seen online. Theresa May even said, "We need to work with allied democratic governments to reach international agreements to regulate cyberspace, to prevent the spread of extremist and terrorism planning." That sounds nice. Block the terrorists. But how many innocents will be caught by this blanketed regulation? Furthermore, they wish to censor youth from harmful opinions, words, and even visuals. They desire to regulate the types of pornography that individuals can view within their borders. Now let me just state that I am not for pornography. The science of the psychological and biological effects it has on the human brain are concrete and frightening. However, I would never advocate against an individual's right to view anything that they want. Now let's get to the United States. As far as laws and bills go, anything that would truly censor our speech or our thought or access to information is always shut down in one form or the process, whether it be at the House, Senate, or executive step. However, the type of censorship we see in the US is even more frightening. The censorship of thought at universities and by mobs of young adults LARPing as revolutionaries. Take the situation that just happened at Evergreen College in Washington. A progressive professor, Brett Weinstein, sent an email to all staff in protest of the new Day of Absence guidelines, an event that for decades was a formal protest by the students of color who voluntarily abstained from attending the university and attended diversity seminars outside of campus to talk about race issues. The new guidelines, however, were that the white students and faculty should not attend campus and attend race relations seminars outside of campus. This would be fine if it were a white group that voluntarily made the decision to do this. Unfortunately, it was not. When he was on campus, mobs of students of color and allies verbally berated him and other professors. They took over campus and held the headmaster, white professors, and other white faculty hostage, all the while berating them about how racist the white faculty were and how oppressed these students are. The situation has still not been resolved, with Brett Weinstein having to have classes off of campus for safety's sake, and then simply campus closure as the administration attempts to bow to the wishes of the student mobs. In the past year alone, there have been protest after protest that has turned into violent riots in order to shut down the spreading of ideas. Black Lives Matter protests have turned into major riots, caused road blockage, and led to tens of millions of dollars in property damage. Anti-Trump protests have turned into huge riots and have led to large amounts of criminal assault. Free speech rallies, conservative voices, and even progressive voices that stray ever so slightly from the narrative are quickly and violently shut down by the ever-growing number of Marxist ideologues who wish to hear no contrary opinions. This type of censorship is the most dangerous in my mind, because it is championed by mainstream media and is led by radical mobs of emotional ideologues. It's time for the voices of reason to stand up. This is why I made my channel. This type of political censorship can only lead to one end: a total upheaval of freedom and capitalism. Capitalism, the system of economics that has brought more wealth to more people than any other. Yes, I will stand up. And yes, I will fight bad ideas with good ones until we are victorious. Thank you all for watching. Please, if you liked the video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Click that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you'll be notified every time I upload. I'm the Educationer. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.